Welcome down to the Mac Cave. Today we're talking about the Hunter Wireless Gamepad made by Retro Fighters and designed for the original Xbox. For most of my gaming life, the original Xbox was actually the only Xbox console that I owned up until just recently. When it came to the original Xbox, one of my only complaints about that system was the controller. The design of those controllers were very large and very bulky, making it, for at least for me, difficult to play for long periods of time. The original Xbox controllers went through multiple designs. And in this particular design here, this controller is a little bit slimmer, but it does still feature the expanded memory ports, which adds to the bulkiness of the controller. Now, the layout of the controllers worked perfectly fine for the games that were on that system, but I always found it a little bit awkward playing some of those games. Now, I grew up playing Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and then we got into the realm of N64, PlayStation, and then, of course, the Xbox. I leaned more into the PlayStation systems, and I became very comfortable with their DualShock designs with their controllers. So, jumping back to the Xbox, this bulky design, I never really got too comfortable with it. And because of that, it felt a little awkward playing for long periods of time, and I would find myself ending my gaming session earlier than I would have with other systems. Now, that said, I absolutely love so many of the titles on the original Xbox, and I still come back to this system very often. Whether I'm looking to wield the Force as Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars Obi-Wan, an exclusive still trapped on the original Xbox system, by the way, or fight my way through the iconic first-person shooter Halo, or take the experience to the streets with some fast-paced racing action in games like Project Gotham. One of the key elements to enjoying any of these games was being comfortable playing them, and that all comes down to the controller. I began searching for third-party options when it came to this system. Now, I have used third-party controllers for multiple consoles over the years, and I've enjoyed many of them. But the thing I always looked for was a comfortable experience. Enter the Hunter Wireless Gamepad from Retro Fighters. I found this company not all that long ago, and I can't believe I haven't found them sooner, and I really wish I did. I started looking through their catalog of items that they have, and they do supply third-party controllers for multiple systems, but the one that stood out to me was the Hunter. This was exactly what I was looking for, a solution for my original Xbox. So let's talk about the controller itself. Look-wise, it has the green coloring, which matches along with the Xbox style, and its sleek design very much reminds me of the feel of the Pro controller on the Nintendo Switch, which, speaking of the Nintendo Switch, the Hunter is also compatible with the Switch. And we're going to talk about compatibility as well. The overall feel of the controller is really nice. The analog sticks feel great. They move right back into their center position very easily. The pressure sensitive buttons feel excellent. You definitely get that satisfying click with those buttons. And every button that is needed for the original Xbox is represented here on the controller. In fact, it also has, along with the triggers, it does have the left and right bumpers. So this controller, being compatible with multiple systems, which include the Xbox, the Nintendo Switch, and you can also connect this to the PC, every button you would need is represented on the controller. The textured grip on the back makes it very comfortable to hold this controller for long periods of time. The positioning of the D-pad, which for me as a retro gamer is key, feels like it's in the exact spot I would want it to be in, because there are still plenty of games that are on the original Xbox, and whether or not you're playing Switch or PC games as well, that you're going to choose to use the D-pad for it. But with that said, we also do have the same positioning you would find on Xbox controllers when it comes to the analog sticks, where they're kind of in that diagonal pattern rather than straight across like you would find on the PlayStation. I've always personally found this diagonal pattern to actually feel a lot more comfortable when it came to games like first-person shooters. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it, but having that diagonal pattern with the right analog stick being slightly lower than the left I felt like I was in more control. I felt like aiming was easier. So that's something I do appreciate that they kept in the design of this controller. It also does have the white and black buttons that are specifically for the original Xbox. The functionality of those buttons vary from game to game, but I'm glad that they are here because they are necessary in several Xbox games. The controller charges via USB-C, and it charges pretty quick too. Once it's fully charged, the battery life is fantastic. I've been using this controller quite a bit, and I have yet to run out of battery during a long play session. So definitely a quality design when it comes to the battery life. Also, the overall weight of the controller. You know, when you pick up something, an item, a product, especially a game controller from a third-party company, and it feels lighter than it should be. It feels, well, for lack of a better term, cheap. The Retro Fighters Hunter controller does not feel cheap. The weight feels perfect. It feels like a legit controller as if you got it from the first party company. And the overall look of the controller is just really nice. It really does fit with the overall design when you think about Xbox. Now let's talk about compatibility. The controller comes with two wireless dongles. This controller communicates over the 2.4 gigahertz wireless band and will communicate to one of two dongles when you have it in use. The first one, which is my primary use, is the dongle that plugs directly into the controller port of the original Xbox. All you do is pair the controller to this dongle that's plugged into the front of your original Xbox, and away you go. You are ready to play. There's no need to map the buttons or anything like that. You are ready to go and play your favorite Xbox titles. When it comes to using this controller on other systems, such as the Nintendo Switch or on PC, that's where the USB dongle comes into play. And much like many other products of this kind, you get a brick that includes the USB port. You plug this into the system you're going to use. For example, if you're using this on the Nintendo Switch, you would plug this USB dongle directly into the dock. And again, just like when using the original Xbox, you pair the controller to the dongle and away you go. If you decide to use the Hunter controller on a PC, simply plug the USB dongle into a free USB port on your computer, and the PC will recognize the controller as a device. There is no need to remap the controls. It will go into its default state and will function as you would expect it to. But when it comes to PC, obviously there's a lot of customizable options when it comes to things like mapping buttons on a controller, so have at it, map it however you would like on the PC. This modern design of an Xbox controller also comes with the rumble feature. So if you like that immersion into your games, and some third-party controllers leave out the rumble, this one did not. The rumble is there and you get that immersion feel as you play your favorite games. When I sit down to play some games and have some free time, whether I'm just playing by myself offline or if I'm streaming the game here on the channel, I like to be comfortable and I want to be able to share with all of you the products that I like to use that help me keep retro gaming alive. And you know what? Believe it or not, the original Xbox is now considered retro. I know, I know. I can feel more gray hair coming out as we speak. But it is, in fact, a retro system, and keeping these things alive, it's not just about the games themselves, it's about how we play the games. And when it comes to controls, that's one of the most important factors for any gamer. The Hunter Wireless Gamepad by Retro Fighters is a top pick for me. I fell in love with this controller almost immediately. I went through all of its setup, which was super easy. It's practically plug and play, and I've been using it nonstop on this system. In fact, since purchasing this controller, I have not gone back to an original Xbox controller for any of these games. For third-party controllers, a lot of players keep them off to the side as a backup and will mainly use the first-party controller that came with the console. For me personally, when it comes to the original Xbox, the Hunter has now become my primary controller, and my original controllers are off to the side as a backup. In my experience, it's very rare for that to occur where a third-party controller takes over as your primary, and to be honest, I'm really happy that this did. I am so happy with this purchase, and it has honestly brought new life to my original Xbox collection. I find myself playing this console more often now than I did, and it's all because I'm comfortable playing the games. The Hunter Wireless Gamepad by Retro Fighters is a top pick for me here at the Mac Cave, and it's something I would highly recommend any owner of the original Xbox takes a look into it. If this is a controller you would like to add to your collection, please check out the links down in the description of this video as well as in the pinned comment. You can also find Retro Fighters on Amazon. I will have links to both down in the description and in the pinned comment. In the world of gaming, quality at an affordable price is key. We live in a world where gaming is expensive, and it always has been. So when you find an affordable item that's going to let you continue playing your games the way you want to, I say jump on it. The Hunter Wireless Gamepad from Retro Fighters definitely checks those boxes.